you were getting all these questions, the same question in Slack, and you were just like, ugh, they keep getting deleted because you're on the free Slack. I swear I answered this question 3 weeks ago, but then you lose it. And you're like, okay, I'm going to record videos, have my own setup. It was unteachable, but you couldn't personalize the experience. You didn't really have clarity on the analytics. And you were like, hold on, I can build shit. Hello and welcome to episode 103 of Webflail. I'm your host, Jack, your failure connoisseur. And today, my guest is Theo Roland. You are a man that is well known in the Webflow community. I'm sure any listeners will know about this guy from the escapades in the world of Webflow that he's been on. But just in case you haven't, he's leading the charge in the Francophone Webflow community. What does Francophone mean? Francophone means French-speaking. He's French, and he runs InitWeb, which includes a French-speaking Webflow community, InitClub, which has 1,043 people in the Slack. What the hell? He also has bootcamps, self-paced courses, and other resources. He also does some consultancy as well. But before all of that, he was a freelancer that taught people online. He was repeating himself all the time. And he was like, this is so dumb. Why don't I just record myself? He's grown a YouTube channel with 114 videos. He's got 1.43K subs and he's flying high. He is a Webflow expert and global community leader. But has it always been this way? Has it always been as dreamy as floating down the river Seine with a bottle of vin rouge? No. The failures that we'll talk about today are failing to launch a studio alongside early stage training, failing emotionally to manage all the requests from the Francophone Webflow community Slack, and failing to properly understand the content expected by the community and the learners of the training. Wow. Okay, we've got an episode on our hands. Theo, welcome to the Webflail podcast.
Thank you for the invitation. Thank you. I'm very glad to be here.
I am psyched that you're here because I need to get more people from all around the world on the Webflail podcast. That's one big thing that I want to do for season 3. So I'm really glad to start off with a French-speaking cousin. Now, before we get into how you built InitWeb and all the amazing things you're currently doing, tell me what your relationship is with failure.
I've always embraced failures because I love to be pushed to my boundaries and to try new things, and so to meet bugs and to fix bugs and to meet new bugs. So I haven't had a lot of failures, but the one I had were not that intense at the moment. But I always took a step back afterwards to analyze the failures and to understand why it happened and how can I avoid it to happen again. So I'm pretty à l'aise with the failures.
Hey, a bit blasé. No, that's great. I mean, it sounds like that you have a really good attitude to failure, though. Like before we started recording, you talked about writing down on paper where you're at and where you want to get to. And I think a lot of the time, we don't actually stop and reflect enough to kind of understand like what's going on and, you know, why are we where we are and, you know, why are we in the financial situation that we're in? Why are we in the relationship we're in? You know, all of this stuff. We kind of just blunder through life. And it sounds like you are very intentional about, you know, what you set your mind towards. Why do you think that is?
I never journaling. To keep a diary every day and to just leave my thought on it. I never done this, but I like to understand where I am and why I am in this position, why I am doing this today, so what happened to me to lead me here. So I like to understand things globally. I like to understand how we build house, how we build website, how we build. I just write down everything I learn, and it helps me focus my mind on what's really necessary, and just to move away what might be a failures in becoming. So why am I doing this? I'm not sure. Maybe it's from my parents, because my mom is a teacher, my father is an entrepreneur. So the perfect mix of both. And so I learned to accept what's coming, and just to be prepared for everything, and just just analyze afterward what's happening and how to correct it.
Yeah, that sounds like a perfect mix of parenting with teacher and entrepreneur, to be like maybe someone that's super prepared, and then maybe entrepreneurs are the kind of people that will just attack problems, and they might not necessarily be equipped to solve the problem until the problem comes, and then they kind of learn from that and go from there. So that's exactly. A really cool mix. So I've been looking at your LinkedIn. A very weird sentence to say to somebody. If someone says to you, I've been looking at your LinkedIn, you might run away, but I have. And you studied, according to this, graphic design at university, and then you went on to be a UI UX designer and as a freelancer before then doing InitWeb. Can you tell me a little bit about, how you led up to InitWeb?
So I studied design, basically, in all of this form: motion design, video design, graphic design, photography, design globally. And after spending 4 years studying design, I immediately started my freelancing journey, and I was doing some design work for my family or friends' families, and my close circle. And a lot of my clients needed some newspaper and leaflet and logo branding, but some wanted to have a website. So I was able to design a website. And in the first 2 years of my studies, I studied HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, but the basics. And I wasn't prepared to really build a fully functional website. I was okay with designing, because that was I studied, but the dev part was a bit terrible for me. I wasn't good, and I wasn't really interesting at this time, because the code seems too complicated. HTML might be the easier one, but the JavaScript is really terrifying. So I was looking for a solution to develop the website for my client, to not lose the client. And I collaborate with some WordPress developers, old WordPress developers. It was really frustrating, because they always say no to every creative ideas that I had, every new integration. We don't do that. No, it's not. Okay. So, really frustrating. So I was looking for a way to build it myself. And I tried Divi, Elementor, to WordPress builders. And I was now autonomous, but I wasn't. I couldn't do everything I have in mind. So it was, a bit frustrating again. And then I think I just found a YouTube video from Hans Segal at the time. Yeah, it was in.
Everyone says this.
Yeah, he was the one. He was the man doing the.
Everyone is like, the amount of times I've heard Ransiger on this podcast. Sorry, carry on.
No, it was in 2017, and end of 2017, 2018, and I found this video of Hans Segal. I just eat in front of Hans Segal, work in front of Hans Segal. I was just enjoying all the content from Hans Segal. And I spent a month building website, trying the tool, trying Webflow. And I just loved it. I fell in love with the tool. And after a month, I was telling myself, okay, I think I'm ready to do the design and the dev for my clients. I don't need anymore the WordPress developers. I will do everything on my own. And that's how my Webflow journey started. I was doing freelancing, so design and development, and by the months passing, I left the design part because I was too much interested in Webflow that all the I don't know. I didn't add the design cultural that I had previously. I wasn't looking at the tendencies, the trending ways to design websites, etc. I wasn't good anymore. I was just too focused on the dev, and I was loving it so far. So I let away the design part, and I was doing just development. I was working with other freelancers doing design and stuff that come next, like integration specific or anything else. And yeah, in 2020, I decided that I was in a good posture to teach Webflow to some agencies and enterprise. And I was doing this in like consulting sessions. So yeah, 1-2 a week, 1-2 days a week, to teach Webflow in enterprise. And I was repeating myself. I love it, but I was repeating myself. And at this time, I was telling myself, okay, I need to condensate all the information in a very clean program. I need to record videos about everything. I need to create slides on a difficult topic like display, positioning, and all. And I need to make it available online so that people, agencies, enterprise, freelancers, new users can come, just try the tool and learn from this content, and then join the community and everything. And that all how InitWeb and InitClub started.
It's quite organic how it all came together then. And okay, let's backtrack. If anyone's listening to this and is like, how do I get clients? The number one question that seems to be asked in the Webflow community when you're starting out, which makes complete sense: friends, family, people that know you, like you, trust you, they are willing to give you your first shot, help you build your portfolio, and also their networks become your networks if you work with them, because they are kind of like your marketing army, as it were. Your mum has a book club. They all have businesses or like are involved in businesses. Like it's as simple as that, potentially.
Exactly. Yes.
Your email, every single person that you have in your email inbox is potentially someone that, you could work with. And just by telling people that you are doing work means that you can get work and go from there. And you might think, I don't want to work with a friend or a family. I want a real client. Well, hold your horses, cowboy. You need something to show the real client that you can do what you say you can do. Yes. So just bearing that in mind, just to focus on what you said right at the start of all that. And then you already had a bit of a background with all sorts of different things, photography, design. You had a pretty good understanding of how a website is meant to look, which I think is vastly underrated. I think a lot of the time people in the Webflow space say, I'm doing Webflow, and you look at their website and you're like, fuck me sideways. You need to go back to Figma, boy, because that is disgusting. You need to actually have a little bit of an understanding, in my opinion, of what a website should look like, because otherwise I think it's very, very hard to know if you're any good at actually developing, in my opinion, unless you're working with agencies already that are giving you beautiful designs to actually develop. I think it's actually quite hard to get work as a Webflow dev if you're making disgusting looking websites, even if they're pixel perfect. So that's another thing that I think is worth highlighting. If you go to InitWeb.fr, have a little look while you're listening to this podcast, you'll see that there is real attention to the design. Theo, you just talked about leaving design behind and being like, you know what, I want to focus just on Webflow. Fine, but you have a really good design eye, which is very clear from looking at your website. Like very much pared down color palette. You've got white, orange, and black. It's very clear across your whole design system, like from looking at your YouTube, from looking at your emails, from looking at your Slack community. Like there is intent behind the color palette and the design system. And it's super simple, but it's very, very clear. And it stands out from the rest of the design communities in the Webflow space. So
thank you.
That's just something that I think is
will take
also
that.
important to highlight. And then, InitWeb, it wasn't something like, oh, I'm going to build the biggest Webflow community in France. It was like, hey, I'm getting bored of saying the same thing every time I speak to someone about Webflow. I'm going to record videos. I'm going to put them online. People want to speak to me. I keep getting asked the same questions. Maybe I should build resources around this. And it kind of grew organically as well, which I think is a really important thing also to highlight. Do you have anything to say on any of the stuff I just tried to summarize from what you said?
I will come back on one point. We often heard that people saying, I know no one who wants a website. Yeah, in our closest friends and family, maybe they don't want a website. But just tell them that you are doing website and they can have a person, a colleague, a friend, a family members who need a website. It's rarely the first circle that will buy you the first website. But the second circle is the better one because the first circle will recommend you to the second circle. So yeah, just tell your friends, tell everyone, now you're doing website, you are looking for clients, you're looking for first project and everything. And that's how you find website. But in my first circle, no one wanted the website. My very first website was the father of one of my friends in the last 2 years of studying, and he needed a website for an event. So yeah, my friend recommended me to his father, and I worked with him. And then I had some other clients from him, and it went organically. So yeah, that's the first point. And thank you for your words on the website. I appreciate a lot. One thing I want to make clear is that, I love designing, but I love designing for myself. I think that I'm not deep enough in the design world now to be able to create one design with one style and to create the next week or the next month a new website for a new client with a totally different website and design style, because I have not this culture anymore. I'm not looking at enough design stuff, motion design, inspirational, etc. So I love to see what others are doing. I love to create things for my own, because I love to take time for this. But in a client way, we have sometimes, because you invoiced for sometimes, you have some time to create this website. You need to be creative in just a short time, and I'm not good enough anymore. So that's why I focused on the dev part. But I still love to take photos, to design stuff, to animate stuff, and for my own.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. I definitely think I know I can hear Matt Evans listening to this. If anyone's on Twitter and knows Matt Evans, he's a really great dev. And I think he might have a different opinion here. But in my opinion, someone who is just a dev who doesn't have like a design eye, I think when they're starting out, I do think it is quite hard to get work, because it's not obvious that they're good at development if the design looks horrible from the get-go. I think there are, as you kind of move through as a freelancer, I think you can be like, you know what, I just want to be a dev. I don't want to touch Figma files unless I'm, looking at them to do the development. I think that's totally fair. It's just, I think if you look at someone like Timothy Ricks, you see how much better he's got at design from doing a ton of development, probably developing beautiful design files that are really, well, maybe they weren't always that well organized, which is why he's come up with Lumos, which, he's got the Figma and then the Chrome extension and all of that stuff. But what I'm trying to say is that, like, I do think it's important to try and understand a little bit about color theory, spacing,
of course.
Like, why does something look good versus not? and
Yes.
you know, as you get into freelancing. That's my
Yes.
tiny little take. Enough about me rambling at you, Theo. Are we ready to get into the failures?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Okay, great, because we're going to talk a little bit about InitWeb now. The failure of launching a studio alongside early stage training.
Yes. I decided to create a course in June 2020. It takes me 2 months to just organize my thought and record the content. And in September, it was available for everyone. The launch was really successful because there were no content in French around Webflow, so it was the perfect content for all of this community who would love to learn more about web development with the no-code tool and with Webflow. So yeah, people were waiting for this content. They bought it, they tried it, they recommended it. So yeah, the launch and the few months after were really good. And in the meantime, I kept my clients. I was working with all clients, yes, on a regular basis, and I kept working with them. And at this time, I had a friend called Benny Sandman. Maybe you know from Super Creative. It's kind of a library of ideas and tools for the creative people, and he was writing an article around what he called hyper freelancing. The hyper freelancing model is that you can start as a freelancer doing some services, and then you will teach everything you know about these services. So you will start to create something that will sell without you having to work for it. And you finally go to the creation of a product around your ecosystem or what you know. And it resonates a lot in me because I was doing freelancing, just started a course that went well. What was the next step at this time? I was thinking about a product, but wasn't really sure. There were no marketplace at this time. There were no ecosystem of not plugin but apps around a Webflow. There were no Chrome extension. Yeah, there were nothing of this. So the product was away for the moment, and I decided to just go further with my freelancing journey and to start a studio. The goal was not to have designers and developers internally, but to work with freelancers to build bigger projects, to create a team of super freelancers and to work for clients with big projects. And the idea kept coming in and out, and I wasn't sure if it was a good idea. And in May 2021, so around 6 months later, a French design agency approached me, and we talk a lot about a vision they have that we could make a fusion. They could bring the design side and I could bring the dev side, and we could create an all-in-one company doing design and dev for clients. Yeah, it was interesting. I was looking for designers to create the design, as I said, for the website, and my team of developers could be able to create it. So I started this. I started to study this, and on my 25th birthday, on June 2021, I declined the offer. I said no. The deal wasn't good enough, and I had the feeling that I will lost my freedom, because I will now have a boss for who I will be working for, and it doesn't felt right. So I said no, but we kept working together as two entities, working side by side. They had the client that they did the design part, and then they moved the project to us. We did the development part, and we launched the website. and again and again and again. And we did 6 months of this. We had really awesome project. We worked for L'Equipe, that is a sport journal in France. We worked for huge clients. It was really, really good. But I felt again very frustrated because I wasn't doing the creative part anymore. I was a manager. My goal was to estimate project on the dev side. My goal was to find freelancers. My goal was to manage the team to create the best website in the shortest time possible and to create a high quality website. I wasn't designing anymore. I wasn't developing anymore. I wasn't experimenting anymore. So it felt very frustrating. And at the end of December of this year, I sent them an email and we called and I said, okay, you can keep with my freelancers, but I think that that's not for me. What I didn't say is that I was too much in this studio side that my course was starting to declining because I wasn't available to create content. I wasn't available to provide solution to all the questions in the community. I wasn't available for the course. I think I took it for granted. The course successfully launched, and I said, okay, good, this check. I will go now on the studio side, and I will scale this until the check side, and I will move to the next project. And I started the studio way too soon because my course just had a good launch, but I needed to maintain the level of quality for the new content, to provide new content for the community. I needed to provide solutions, resources, and everything. And as I wasn't doing this, the sales were going down, the opinion around the course were going down. So that led to my decision at the end of 2021 to stop the studio. I came back in 2022 with the full-on focus on the course, and I wanted at this time again to buy something, a house or an apartment, and start renovating. So I needed to be fully on the course to create better content and be more present and make the student happy. And I wanted also to started to again gaining revenue without having to work daily, to have the time to go in my house to renovate the house. And that's what happened at the end of 2021. And today I think it was a failure, but I learned a lot about this. And the idea of the studio, or to work with freelancers, or to provide to agencies some good talents isn't gone away much. In 2024, I'm thinking a lot about this, about a better way to bring the good users, the good Webflow developers, and the talents we have to the good studio who are looking for them. And I think I can do something. But the studio, the launch of the studio was too early at this point when I launched the course too.
So you were just trying to take on too much, basically.
Yes.
You were just like, course has launched, great. I'm now going to do a completely different thing over here. And you also sounded like you were a bit dissatisfied with the job itself because you weren't even doing the creative anymore.
Exactly.
But you were getting well paid and you were steady there. But you were like, you know what? I'm not my own boss. I'm not doing the creative. And I also don't have enough time to do what I want to do outside of my work. So you were like, okay, I'm done. What advice would you give someone who maybe is kind of similar to you? Maybe is like, I like doing this, I like doing that, I like doing, all sorts of different things. And at what point do you have to say no to exciting, shiny objects?
It's good questions. We often look at all the the successful people on Twitter, on Instagram, and everywhere, and they try to they have awesome businesses with multiple source of revenue, multiple subject they love, they are doing every day, and I think we are in a period that everyone is looking for everything too fast. We want to be the next Zuckerberg next week. We want to be the next product builders next week. We need to accept that to do great things, we need to give these things the time to grow. Because if you are going, I will do a metaphor that might not be that good, but yeah, you will understand. If I have a small place in my garden to cultivate some tomatoes and everything, potatoes, yeah, I can handle that. I can do tomatoes, potatoes, and everything. But if I buy a huge field, I may try another list of fruits and exactly. And I will not be able to maintain everything because I did not scale my farm. So what I recommend is try a few things if you love a few things. Look at what is really going well and understand that if you are going all in on this one, you might lose the time to do the everything else. So you have 24 hours. You can't work 24 hours. You have to select things. Try everything you love, and then based on business related data, choose the one that is good for you in business and in the thing you love. So that's what I regret about this time. I think I lost is kind of a hard word. I not lost time. I did not lose time, but I think that I lost maybe 6 months of development for the community, for the event, for the content. Maybe I came back after with a deeper
renewed energy.
Yes, exactly. I went back so much harder that I think it compensates. But if you try too many things, you will either burn yourself because you will just burn out, or you will have the impression at the moment to manage everything, but one of them is just slowly dying because you're not fully available. So start small, cultivate small, and then grow on the vertical you love and you think is great.
I love that advice. Okay, great. So what you're saying is try out some different things, small scale, and then once you've worked out what those few things are that you enjoy and that make financial sense and that you're not going to burn out doing, then you can kind of focus your energies onto 1, 2, max 3 things that you can do alongside. Obviously, completely depends on your goals with these things, though. For example, with me, I'm doing Webflail and freelancing. So I'm like, okay, freelancing is my money. That's the income. And, Webflail is the kind of hobby, the thing that I really enjoy doing. Yeah. But before I got a bit confused, I was trying to earn money from Webflail. And I think that, trying to get sponsorships and I think that actually negatively impacted my relationship with Webflail because I was like, why don't I just enjoy the conversations that I'm having and learn as much as I can? And hopefully someone listening can get something out of the things that I'm asking these people. And I don't need to try and stuff the podcast with adverts and, whatever. So anyway, I guess it's a great advice, though, to start with this kind of metaphor of like, make your plot small and grow things that you really, really love. But once you've worked out what the things are that you really want to focus on, I think that's great advice.
I love the way Keegan is doing it. He creates content. He has a course. He's creating product for Webflow. I think he managed very well all the verticals. So I think he's the best example today of that hyper-freelancing model that scale, organically and not too fast. Yes, he's doing it as his own pace, but it's working well. So congrats to him. Yeah.
This is Keegan O'Leary. This is
Yep.
WebBay for anyone that's not as plugged in as Theo into the Webflow space, but he's got all sorts of different things that he seems to just love doing, and he seems to be managing all of that stuff quite well. So I think the key is to really love what you do and listen to your body and be like, you know what, I don't really enjoy doing this thing that I've started trying out. I'm actually going to say no to this thing, and I'm going to really focus my attention elsewhere. I think a lot of people in the Webflow space listening to this conversation might be like, yeah, I'm trying to do a bazillion things too. I want to learn 3D. I want to do this. I want to do that. I'm going to start my own course. I want to sell asset packs. I want to sell templates. And I think we're probably those types of people that just, people that want to work for themselves, trying things out, seeing things on the web the whole time, hyper aware of the opportunities out there. And maybe the thing to learn is not actually how to do something new, but actually how to say no to that new thing when the time is right. Let's move on to failure number 2, the failure in emotionally managing all the help requests from the Francophone Webflow community in Slack.
This was a big subject. I'm more or less a lonely guy. I love to be on my own. I love to do my stuff on my own. I enjoy to be alone. But when I launched the course started with French community on Slack, a private community to allow students to ask questions around Webflow, to find resources, and to have a quick answer around the question around Webflow. And I was doing a lot of Loom videos and explanation for every questions. It was really a great place. And as I said, the launch on 2020 was very successful. I had like a couple hundred of students in a few months, and I had as many questions on the Slack. So I had to be able to categorize the need, categorize the questions, to allow everyone to just dig into the questions and look at the solutions and everything. So I created this place on Slack, and it was perfect. But how can I say it? At this time, I had a lot of people on the Slack that were new users, and every new users isn't every new users can be a bit shy, and I fully understand that, because they don't want to show off the website they are creating because they are not proud of it yet, and they don't want to post a message on a public channel with the link of the website, because it's not really finished. I don't want to show what are the other going to think. And even if I created all of these channels and everything was organized, I had at this moment a lot of message in DM, in direct messages, in Slack, in LinkedIn, in Twitter, by email. I absolutely don't blame them. I fully understand the why. But I decided to analyze the situation and why people did not try to ask the question on the channel, and why are they coming to me. I just realized that, yes, this is the private community linked to a course I created with a bunch of new users. And every time they were asking questions in those public channels, I was trying my best to bring the best explanation possible in the quickest possible way. I was clearly their source of truth. So at this moment, I think like around 1.5 years later, after the course launch, I said, okay, we need to make the the Slack public. We need to allow everyone, because everyone can benefit from the resources I am sharing, and from the sourcing, the solution and everything that everyone will be sharing in this space. I think that is the best take I made since the start of InitWeb, because a lot of people joined the Slack. A lot of experts joined the Slack. A lot of new users or different users, more developer users or more integrational users joined the Slack, and we had a huge growth. But people were not yet used to answer each other. At this moment, I decided, and I think I made a part of it. I think it's hard to say no to clients, but I found it really hard to just accept that I do not provide a solution yet. I need to. I thought every questions, and I took the position to, okay, I will not provide a solution today, or I will not provide the solution tomorrow. I need to allow all the people to bring the solution to this person, and I think this was the best move, because for like a week or 2 or 3 maybe, the Slack became less active, but then the community itself started to take on the Slack and to bring answers and resources and everything. And I wasn't the main problem solvers anymore. And now, I'm looking for my word. I wasn't overwhelmed anymore, because I did not have those questions on DM anymore, on LinkedIn, on Twitter. Everyone was just okay with the fact that they can ask questions on Slack. They can have help from each other, and it wasn't a learning Slack anymore. It was more of a resource Slack around a tool. It was not the InitWeb Slack. It became something else. And that's why we started to brand it like InitClub. It still is managed by an entity, so that there is no issue with the people doing some crazy shit, but the community, he can live on his own and can bring every ideas, every inspiration, every resources in this Slack. So at the start I felt overwhelmed, but by accepting that I'm not the only one that needs to answer those questions, I felt so much better. So I'm not sure if it's really clear, but I'm trying my best to...
It is. It's great. You basically were the single point of contact.
Exactly.
People were like, Theo, I have a problem. Theo, I have a problem. Here, Theo, I have a problem. And instead of basically being like, Theo, I have a problem. Oh, someone else actually knows the answer from the community, because Theo has already answered that problem. So then they can answer that person. You kind of generated that self-feeding community, or like sharing community, by virtue of just retreating for a few weeks and being like,
yes,
hey guys, look after yourselves, play nicely. And it sounds like they did. I was actually a community manager for 100 Days of No Code a few years ago. And one thing that Max Haining did really well is he basically tagged people who were kind of community leaders almost in questions. He said, hey, I actually did this with da-da-da, and I speak to da-da-da, and I speak to da-da-da. And as a result, those people he kind of accidentally trained other community leaders to basically be the ones that helped just organically. And who were really generous people and clearly enjoyed sharing. And I think if you can kind of clone yourself by virtue of giving other people the chance to actually share, because sometimes people actually they just didn't realize that there's a question that they can help with, and if you just tag them, then they can as well. So that might help anyone that's also got a Slack community listening to actually kind of deal with this problem as well. Why do you think there are so many different communities? Do you think we are getting drowned in a sea of different Slack groups? I'm in about, I don't know, I'm in about like 10 WhatsApps and Slacks, and there's Facebook groups. And do you think there's a need for them? Do you think that there's a lot of people calling their Slack group a community when actually it's kind of like a dead party?
Yeah. It's interesting because it reflects me that I'm in a lot of Slack group too, and
some of them are dead. Some of them are so dead.
Exactly.
You're just like, why? Why does this exist?
I think that all the Slack groups are not the community. Slack is not. It's just a medium. You can have a community on Discord.
It's
on
a tool.
And everything.
Yeah. Sure.
The community is more the place where all the exchange have happened, where the resources are shared, where the inspiration is shared, and everything. And I think people in the creative environment and the development environment rely a lot on those communities, because it's the best way to learn a tool or to find resources around the tool, to find help. But as your life is going on, at the moment you might be interested in I don't know, Midjourney and everything. So you will join a community around Midjourney, and a few months later you will not do some Midjourney anymore. So you will start to be interested in Webflow, and you will join another community. So we have been part of a lot of communities, but I think that at the moment it's not really interesting to be a part of a lot of community. Right now, I think I'm in the InitClub community. I think I'm in the Webflow large group, the community. I'm the FinSuite community. I'm pretty active too, and I think that's it. I think a community is a place where exchange happened both ways. It's not just someone telling you something, like I was before, but it became a community when every exchange come from every person in the group, every members. So there is not a lot of communities, but when a community is well structured to allow those exchanges of resources and just discussions, it can become a really interesting communities to be a part of. And a community has to be the safe place where you can allow yourself to share your doubt about a project, about a way of freelancing, and that's what I'm trying to create a lot, to let people share their doubt and everything they felt about Webflow, freelancing, and everything. And it's not a place where I am the only one talking. In French, we have a lot of other creators, Florian, the DigiDop, Justa, Meka, a lot of content creators that are coming to the community, sharing their content, their videos, their articles, and everything to help the community. So I am not the only provider of content. There is a lot of other content that can be discovered on this place. I think that might help a lot of a new community creator, but you can automate a part of the stuff on the community. typically on the InitClub community, you have a channel that display all the Webflow status message. So when there is a bug or an error in Webflow, the Webflow status send the message, and we have it automatically in Webflow. You can find inspirational websites weekly, 10 websites weekly, automated and filling the space. It has to be organic. You have to make it the more organic way possible.
Great answer. I definitely think that when you start a community, there needs to be a hell of a lot of energy from the person that starts the community in order to get people talking. It's like hosting a party. It's like if you go to the party and the party host isn't there, well, everyone's going to wonder why the fuck they're there. Everyone's going to just leave because they're like, what's the point? Like, I thought I was coming to the party partly, organized by this founder. So I thought the founder had an idea for this party to exist, right? But if it's just not well organized and there's no real reason for being there, I definitely think that's a problem. So if you're thinking of starting a community, I definitely think a little bit about why anyone should come, because if you don't, then it might literally be a little bit like your granddad's 70th. Okay, tell me about failure number 3, the failure to properly understand the content expected by the community and the learners of the training.
I think that we are doing some passionate role. My job is, I just love my job so much that I'm fully passionate about my jobs. So when I started to create content, I created content around what I like personally. I started doing content with a group of friends that we call Sapiens, and we were doing weekly lives on YouTube. And we were all doing some Webflow. So we were sharing the Webflow news. We were sharing a project we were working on, and sometimes, we inside the lives we were giving some tutorials around the topic. After some times, I realized that it was always subject that reflect in us. But we were in the Webflow space for like 2, 3, 4 years. So new users could not maybe understand everything we were talking about, because we were talking about deep integration, thin suite content, and everything. So the basics weren't explained. When I want to write a video for the course or for the YouTube, I often try to expose every idea I had, and to try to pick the one that speak to me the most, because I will be able to talk a lot about it. But I have a lot of times the sensation that I'm saying myself, is it really useful? Now that I mastered this integration or this conception, I found it easy. So am I the only one that was struggling with these topics? This video will this video be interesting? Yeah, I wasn't fully aware of what people needed. And obviously, today we are in a world of data, so we have access to every video, watch time, the views, and everything on YouTube. So you can rely on this to understand fully what people wanted, what people are looking for in different topics. And but I was just too passionate about the content that I wasn't looking at this. I was just doing my stuff. Okay, I love Webflow. I love doing this. Okay, we'll do a video about this. But will it interesting someone? I'm not sure. And then I started to analyze both the content on YouTube and the content on the platform, on my course platform. And I started to understand that some videos were seen once, but twice, or 3 or 4 times, because the topic was kind of hard. So I was able to identify which topic would be the most interesting to dig in, because the topic was hard. In the meantime, on the Slack, we are on the free plan, on the Slack free plan. So every 90 days, the message will go away. We have not a huge historic. So the same basic questions coming back. And we kept providing solution every time. But I started to realize that, and I said, okay, this is something that is not well explained or fully explained on the internet. I need to shoot content on this, and I started to based on the questions on the Slack and based on the analytics from my videos, YouTube or platform, I started to be able to fully understand what is the content the users want from the Webflow universe or the InitWeb universe. And it started to become much and more clear, more and more clear. And now I'm trying to go further on this with the new platform. The previous platform was built on Teachable, which is an LMS that allows you to create courses, and the new one is created on Webflow and MemberStack. So I have much more access to everything. I can personalize everything, every step of the experience, and I can have much more data that I can try to understand the video that are seen, the change that are done, the QCM that are not fully understood and everything. And I started to implement a lot of new system in the platform to first to push the people to do the full completion of the course, because in an online course, if it's quite long, people will start the course watching every video after the others, and at one time they will try on Webflow and they will feel that they will not need the course anymore, so they will watch like 60-70% of the course, and then they will go away. So I'm trying my best to push people to do the completion of each chapters and sub-chapters, to have the data, to understood what is the topic that is the most difficult, and to reduce the basic questions that we can have on the Slack. Because more and more people are watching the content, and so understanding the concept and everything. And thanks to this integration, we are only at the beginning, but we can already see that there is fewer and fewer basic questions on the Slack. So the community is growing, is leveling up, thanks to the work every creator is doing. DHDUP is a huge content creator, so they have a huge part in this. But we see that if we fully understand what the new Webflow users are looking for, we can provide the great content for it, and then like a Tetris, okay, we secure the bottom line, we move up, okay, and we move up and move up, and we are leveling up the community on Webflow and on all the integration and everything. So to create a recap, I started doing content without worrying about the data or anything, just doing the things I love. And now I do the things I love, and knowing that this content is needed because I saw that the topic was hard or not well understood. I hope it's clear.
Let me just repeat back to you what I heard, just to check. Okay, so basically you were getting all these questions, the same question in Slack, and you were just like, oh, they keep getting deleted because you're on the free Slack. There's no filtering, or like it's just kind of messy in Slack sometimes. And you're like, I swear I answered this question 3 weeks ago, but then you lose it. And you're like, okay, I'm going to record videos, have my own setup. It was unteachable, but you couldn't personalize the experience. You didn't really have clarity on the analytics. And you were like, hold on, I can build shit. I'm going to make this custom with Webflow and MemberStack. You're going to have loads of data, and you can actually see what parts of the course you need to improve Plus, you can actually save and record all those different questions that you're getting, so that I'd imagine there'll be some kind of filterable thing. You'll have all the content beautifully laid out. It's going to be super sexy UI, and people are going to be like, oh my God, zut alors. This content is just so perfect. I wish more courses were this easy to digest. Is that right?
Exactly. The goal is to really to provide the best content to the people, and for this, I just need to understand what they needed.
Hey, isn't that just a beautiful metaphor for life? Life is not that hard if you understand what the basics are and how to do the basics well. That is generally the gist. That's my kind of theme for this year. Just try and do the basics well. Are you ready for the final, maybe the hardest question of this episode? Sure. Yeah. I mean, you've listened to these episodes before, so you know what's coming.
Yeah.
Theo, what is your next failure going to be?
I really don't know what my next failure is going to be, but I can't wait for it to happen, because I'm sure I will learn a lot from it, and I'm well prepared for this. I know it will happen. I can't live the rest of my life without any failures. It will be just boring.
Good stories need conflict.
Yes, exactly. I can't wait for the next, the next failures. I think it might be. 2024 and 2025. I think I'm a lot into the development. I code a lot in JavaScript, and I'm trying to build a portfolio of properties, apartment, houses, and everything. So I think I will have failures in this domain, because I'm still learning to renovate houses. I'm still learning to code JavaScript very well. I'm still learning to teach something, and I think if the life became too boring, I will try new. I will seek discomfort. I don't know if you heard about this YouTube channel called Yes Theory.
Yes.
But I love these YouTube channels, and their mantra, "seek discomfort," is something that resonates a lot in me. So if life is becoming too boring, I will still seek discomfort in another way, and I'm okay with failures.
Definitely, that is the entrepreneurial spirit in you, I'm sure. And yes. I like what you said there about seeking discomfort. Keep looking for hard. We do not do things because they're easy. We do things because they are hard. Theo, very excited to see how this course develops. It sounds like the course is pushing you to develop yourself, because you're like, okay, people are now asking me about code questions, because they've kind of graduated from the no code to understand that no code is kind of just code abstracted. So now I'm going to need to understand the code in order to answer those questions. So it's cool to see that this course and this community that you've built is actually pushing you to become a way better developer than you would ever be. So that's epic. Awesome to hear about the apartments and houses. I can't wait to come and stay in one of them on a south of France holiday, which we've naturally talked about. No, I'm joking. If anyone's listening, we haven't talked about that. But hey, we could have a Webflow meetup in south of France.
Yeah, in London. In October.
Hey, I'll be there in London. You're going to be there in London?
Yeah, of course I will be there.
Yeah, of course. Okay, well, we need to come to London and do all that. But then there needs to be a south of France. Yes. I'm thinking pool. I'm thinking tennis court. Yeah. You see where I'm going? I'm thinking like south of France villa. So if you save up, Theo, you buy that for us. Yeah? No, I'm joking. But no, I'm very, very excited to see how far you've got by October and beyond. It's awesome to see you're developing so fast. Thank you for doing everything that you're doing in the Francophone community. You, Digidot, there's a few people that are amazing creators that are really pushing forward the French community, in my opinion, like one of the leaders in terms of like outside of the States. I think French community is absolutely banging. If only I could speak French, god damn it. But
You will have to learn some words for London.
Hey, for London, I mean, most people will be speaking English there, I hope. But no, I do actually want to learn French. I have French family, so French family is what I tried to say. So, I do need to speak to my nephews and nieces. Anyway, Let's take this conversation offline.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming on Webflail podcast and sharing as vulnerably as you have. You've been an epic guest.
Thank you. Thank you to you. Thank you.
Boom! What an episode with Theo Roland, the Frenchman. He shares so much insightful stuff as someone that's leading a community, someone that's built a course, someone that's been a successful freelancer, someone that's been a consultant. This man has done a lot of different things, and it's so clear in this episode how many nuggets he has to share with us all. So thanks for Theo for coming on the podcast, and thanks so much for you lot for listening. Now, obviously he shared a lot, but the key thing that I want to pick out on this whole ramble schmamble at the end of every episode, I do a little ramble schmamble. This one I want to focus on community building and the importance of community. Now, you as a Webflower might want to be a hyper freelancer like Theo. What's a hyper freelancer? It's someone that not only just sells their time for money, doing a service like Webflow building for clients or agencies. It's someone that might have products as well. It might mean that you could create a course, you might create templates, you might do all sorts of different things. But the importance of community is vital in order for you to have momentum and actually sell whatever the thing is that you sell. And I think so much of the time people set up Slack groups, and it's like, you can't just set up a Slack group and expect people to want to hang out there. If you're not there, if you're not injecting tons of your own energy, then it's going to be very hard to build a community. Now, the term community also gets thrown around a lot. I'm setting up a Slack community. Is it really a community? Is it really? Because if there's no one talking, if they don't know each other, because you haven't actually created spaces like fireside sessions so that they can actually meet each other in person, or virtually in person, if that makes sense, like on a call, then it's going to be very hard to actually build a community of people that keep coming back to this same Slack group or Discord or heartbeat.chat or whatever platform you're using to actually facilitate community. So I just think that's really important to say. One, it's really important that if you're going to create some kind of digital asset or something to sell as a hyper freelancer, to actually think a little bit about building a community. And then two, building a community is not just setting up a Slack group, as Theo talks about. He needed to dedicate time and energy to it in order for it to grow. And he's gone to the extra effort of making a fucking sick member stack Webflow database type course setup. He's moved off Teachable so that he can actually customize the experience to really give that elevated satisfaction to his course members. So yeah, just think that's really worth talking about there at the end of this episode, that this whole becoming a hyper freelancer is a dream for a lot of us. Not just selling our time for money, but other people need to be involved for that to happen. Other people need to really viscerally want to engage with you. Have you ever heard of the phrase 1,000 true fans? Or actually, I think it's 100 true fans. It's not even 1,000 maybe. But anyway, the idea is that essentially you don't need that many people to love what you do in order for you to earn enough money to survive. You actually maybe need far fewer than you think. Next episode, we have Luke Netty. Luke is an incredible Webflower. You've probably seen him in the Twitter sphere. He's always putting helpful things online. He's very knowledgeable about copywriting, SEO, strategy, and other things besides just the pixels or the rems, if you're inclined. So, very excited to share that episode next week. Until then, have an incredible week, Webflailers.